By extension, Africa is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica. Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Isivahome Ofodile, and I am joined by my stunning co-anchors, Norma, Marian, and Uti, who we have via Zoom. Hello, ladies.
Hi, Isi. You look radiant.
Yeah, thank you.
As an anchor, as a main anchor.
We are missing Usaiwami Auntie.
You do just fine.
Yeah. Hi, Uti. How are we today?
I'm good. Hi. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hope you've had a good day.
It's great. Recovering from COVID as best as we can.
Really? What happened?
Yep.
You caught it.
I did. Like I said.
Oh my gosh.
I waited till I took the vaccine.
So now everybody
enough to wait until I took the vaccine and then it hit.
Oh, fantastic.
Can imagine.
At least you've been vaccinated. It's important.
It's a good thing.
We can't wait to have you back though.
I know. Isolating, like I always say that I love to keep my own company, But when it's forced, trust me, it's not fun. I know what prisoners feel like now.
I did get the COVID way back, but I won't say when. But I recovered, and it's fine. You know,
think
just so long as you just keep yourself safe and abstain from what you're not supposed to do. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I think somehow, one way or the other, we may or may not have caught COVID without knowing. So either way, we're building an immune system and we're getting stronger.
Yeah,
a lot of people may have caught COVID without knowing.
Yeah, they're also asymptomatic carriers.
Exactly.
And most times you don't even know it comes and then it finally goes. But the bad part of the asymptomatic carriers is that you might just be transmitting
other
to a
people.
lot
Exactly.
of people because you don't even know that you have it.
Exactly.
Because you don't, the symptoms may
And
not.
That's
be
why
careful.
they're symptomatic.
Well, let's not talk about COVID.
But you look radiant.
Thank you. Thank you.
How
Always a
are
pleasure
you?
to be here. At least I'm not talking about too serious things. Just let my hair down literally and just have fun. With
I
the
feel like a
ladies.
girl.
It's so good to have you ladies on the show, and this is the first time I'm anchoring Ways.
Yay!
Okay. Congratulations. You do great.
Thank you. So here's what we found as today's quote. Men forget, but never forgive. Women forgive, but never forget. This is by Robert Jordan.
Wow.
Now, do men forgive women? After they've cheated? Never. I've never seen where that has happened.
Well, I have.
Really?
I have.
Who forgive?
Yes, who forgive and let the woman, It takes a while because, I mean, I was reading about a man who caught his wife cheating, had forgiven her and they got back together. But his major challenge was that he couldn't touch her because every time he touched her, he remembered that she was with another man.
They never forget.
No, they forget.
Oh, they forget.
But they don't forgive. But I think that some men have. I think it has to do with your background. It's about your background. It's about the way you were raised. It's about your orientation, the experiences that you've gone through. It's actually easier, if you ask me, to forgive and let it go, but you may never forget. I think it's the forgetfulness part that is troubling for that man, because every time he tries to touch his wife, he remembers.
That's why you just let go, actually.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
Anyway.
It's tough. It's tough on both sides.
Absolutely.
Really, but
why do women stay? I mean, you're married.
Ladies, why? Hold on, we'll get there. So, an unknown source once quoted to have said, infidelity does not come from lack of love, but it comes from lack of respect. It's our ladies' night out, and Marianne, Norma, Uti, and I are asking the men what they would do if they are cheated on by their wives. And there's a love child as a result. When we open our phone line, we would love to hear what you have to say. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news. You're still watching Ways. So, today is Step Family Day. A step family is something everybody knows. So, a large percentage of people live in a step family environment today, which is why Step Family Day is so important. Things have changed a lot in the past decade. Now, more than ever, half of all marriages end in divorce. This isn't as bad as a thing as it sounds, as many of those lifelong marriages, were held together in spite of internal abuse, general unhappiness, and societal pressures. Also, circumstances can change. It does not matter whether it is a family death, divorce, or another event that resulted in a step family. The vital thing is that they decided to become a family. Step Family Day is all about paying honor to this and being proud of being a part of a blended family. Being part of a step family can be really challenging, but growing up with a step family can be really rewarding, especially when everybody works together to overcome the challenges and create an amazing blended family. Celebrate this day by simply telling your step family that you love them and appreciate them for being there for you through the challenges you face together. Happy Step Family Day.
Happy Step Family Day.
To all the step families, the stepmothers, the stepdaughters, the stepfathers.
Yes. You know, when we grew up, we had the story of individuals talking about the neutral family in social studies and the extended family in social studies.
Yes.
But as time progresses, we now have what we call the blended family. I once watched a movie of
blended. Yes. I did.
Blended family where the man was a sailor. He had 7 children, and his wife had 7 children, so they came together. Now imagine the kind of Fuji House of Commotion that must have happened.
Oh my goodness! I mean, literally, that's a great comparison because that's like the Nigerian version. The Fuji House of Commotion.
Exactly.
Uti,
married to
are you there?
too many wives.
Hello, Uti. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. So, do you have any experience with blended family?
Well, yeah, my family is extremely blended. So I think we've talked about it before. Most Shekiri families tend to be blended, so mine is. And I mean, it's different. It's different for me because my siblings are a lot older than me. So I kind of grew up as an only child, kind of because everybody was so much older than me. But I think that with blended families, really, it takes a conscious effort to get everybody to come together, and it kind of depends also when it happens, if the kids are younger, if the kids are older, and then if you have that sort of mix of, like, you know, another kid then coming from the current union, it can be quite interesting. But the goal is always at the end of the day to have that sort of collective bond. And it's becoming more common these days, but I think blended families probably will eventually outnumber the nuclear families. That's the word. Yeah,
exactly.
We'll eventually outnumber that at the rate at which we are going. So it's pretty much here to stay, I would say.
Absolutely. So before we move on, we are not talking about blended family today. So let's find out what we found in the news today. So let's start with Uti.
Okay.
So my headline is pretty simple. I was scouting through the news this morning. And this caught my attention because it said COVID-19, UK may list Nigeria as a travel risk. Now, we know that the entire world is still reeling from the effects of COVID-19, and one of the industries or sectors that really struggled with that was, of course, air travel. Now, it has relaxed as vaccinations have been rolled out and different countries have implemented different rules. Now, for the UK, they have a traffic light system with red, green, and amber countries depending on the proliferation of COVID. And currently, Nigeria is an amber country. If you're on the red list, it means that you have to take a mandatory, if you're coming from a red country into the UK, you've got to do a mandatory quarantine, you know, and pay your hotel and stay there. But on the amber list, you're allowed to quarantine at your location, which is what we currently have to do. And then we have to test, I believe, on day 2 and day 8. And you're trapped in that period until you get the all clear to be able to go out. So we are at risk of being added to the red list today. I was just checking for an update whilst we were speaking. I can't see anything yet that the new list has been announced. But of course, if that does happen, then it has a lot of ramifications. The UK, of course, is one of the prime destinations for us Nigerians. So it just means that if you're flying directly from Lagos to Nigeria to the UK, then you need to be ready to pay the fees for the mandatory 10-day quarantine in a quarantine hotel. So we need to watch that space because it does have, like I said, ramifications for us.
Fantastic.
More money to be spent on top of the plenty money you spend for COVID tests and air tickets.
You can say that again. So let's come to Norma.
Oh, okay. So my news, well, what I found in the news was about the EFCC boss. It happened today that earlier in the day he was at a meeting celebrating National Identity Day and he collapsed.
Oh dear.
Right, so they said in the news, it says the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdul Rashid Bawa, has slumped at the 3rd National Identity Day celebration at the banquet hall at the Villa. So, but later, a few hours later, it was said that he's recovered and he's getting medical attention, and we wish him the very best.
Absolutely.
I can only imagine the pressure that he's going through at this time. So
could be exhaustion.
The exhaustion can make you all shades of. Exactly. So we must pay attention to ourselves in the midst of all that we're going through. However much the pressure is, we must pay attention to ourselves.
Absolutely. Health first, then wealth later. Yes, Marianne.
Well, I'm always going to bring you the politics in the news. Well, what's in the news for me is, I mean, we know, according to UNICEF, that about 1 million Nigerian children could miss school due to the rise of kidnappings. Now, we all know, for those of us, except you're coming from the moon, everybody knows what's happening in Nigeria, and the abductions from schools. It has now graduated to other places. But let me just go through the story quickly. At least 1 million Nigerian children could miss out of school this year as the new term begins, amid a rise in mass school kidnappings and insecurity. This is by the United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF. They said this on Wednesday. And they're quoted to say that learners are being cut off from their education as families and communities remain fearful of sending children back to classrooms due to the spate of school attacks and student abductions in Nigeria. And this was quoted, this was attributed to Peter Hawkins, who is the UNICEF representative in Nigeria. And ladies, you know this, that especially in the northern parts of the country, we're trying as much as possible to encourage parents to allow their children
to go to school.
And 80% of the children who are out of school in Nigeria are girl children. And in those parts of the world, they look at it as a waste of time and energy to send a girl child to school when you can give her out in marriage.
Exactly.
So you have that problem on the one hand. Now, we started the school feeding, which was supposed to encourage parents to let their children come to school.
And then
and then quickly, lastly, now you have to convince a parent to now let their child go to school and be sure that the child can come home safe.
It's safe.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. We need safe spaces for our children to learn.
Talking about safe spaces, my news is on 5 killed in separate cults and clashes in Benue State. So it's not just about cultism in Benue State, in Lagos State. We also have cultism in Benue State. The menace of cultism needs to be brought to a stop in this country because it's spreading like wildfire.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to keep my story as short as possible. So with this, I will say we'll see you after the break to tell you what we are going to talk about today. See ya. Thanks for staying with us. It could be a devastating and shattering experience when one spouse cheats. However, it could be a catastrophe when there is a love child or children as a result of it. On our previous Ladies' Night, the ladies had a torrid session discussing their take on men cheating and expecting the woman to accept not only the affair, but the love child or children. Recall that recently, the family saga of popular artist Two-Face and his wife Annie was all over social media. Also, popular Hollywood celebrity Gabrielle Union recently opened up about her emotional struggles when her husband had a baby on her with another woman amid her fertility issues. If this case was reversed, would these men have been calmer? However, how would you think Two-Face or Dwayne Wade would have reacted if their wives had come in with another child. Tonight, the ladies and I will be talking about this. Accept the love child or do not accept the love child is another thing, irrespective of the society, what society may think. Men, this is what the deal breaker will be for you. Let us know what the deal breaker will be for you. Would you forgive your wife for having an affair? And would you accept the love child? Please let us hear what you are saying. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS on WhatsApp to 081 8038 4663. We'll take whatever you have to say now. But before we go into this, you see, this is so interesting. Why? Because the ladies talked about this on Tuesday.
Yes.
And they had a lot to say about this, based on respect, based on what we believe in, based on our cultural and social values, based on our societal beliefs. And Ade from the UK also made a contribution, which he says, let me dig it out, where he said that it was a woman that actually, that women also participate in adulterous acts, which we have women coming out with promiscuity, sorry, I'm saying promiscuity, promiscuity, where a man had to discover that his wife had an affair when they had to go to the embassy to get a DNA test done. And it was exposed that the last child of the man wasn't his child. Would that man have accepted that child? No, which is what every other man in Nigeria would have done. They wouldn't have accepted the child because they feel that that child isn't theirs. Let's not talk about the fact that we have the family stigma on that child. We have the problem of we having the man bringing in a love child. The family can say, this is our son's child. But the woman might decide to bring the child closer or tell the child to stay away or treat the child like the child isn't hers in the first place. But the man, believe me, it would take the grace of God for him to accept the child that has been brought in by another woman, by his wife, from another man. Cultural and social beliefs will tell us, hey, this is wrong, it's a taboo. I don't know if I'm reading your mind, but I think from where I come from, they would totally say no to this. So let's first of all go to via Zoom and talk to Uti and see what she has to say about this before we come to the ladies in the studio. Hi, Uti, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I've been listening to your banter.
Okay.
You know, it's interesting because I don't think that men do well with forgiving women when they cheat. But I think that these situations are unique when it comes to having children in the mix. And I've seen it happen both ways. I've seen the man refuse to keep the child, refuse to basically kick them out of the house, both the mother and child. And I've also seen on the flip side where the man has said, I raised this child from birth. Right. We've gone past the point of, whether it's DNA or no DNA, this is my child. So it can go in multiple ways, depending, for me, what I see is the quality of the relationship. And I know that there was I can't remember which of the shows I was on, where Uwa was making a point that when there are no third parties involved, right, where it's just the couple dealing with their issues, there tends to be a lot more forgiveness, there tends to be a lot more communication. But then, of course, once third parties are involved, then people have to think about how they're perceived and how other people's opinions might matter in the case. So it's a tough one. Certainly, I would say that it's easier for the woman to take in the man's love child than typically it would be for a man to keep a love child. But then we're also seeing that these occurrences are increasing. If you follow social media blogs, if you read places like Nairaland, these stories are very commonplace. You know, I've known people who have had secret DNA tests on their children because they're not sure. So I think I would leave my final comment at the fact that it is probably more common than we think, with a lot of kids actually growing up in homes where who they think their parent is may not be their parent. Certainly becoming more commonplace.
Thank you. So, Norma, you see, the relationship, let's work with the premise of Two-Face, Sidibia, and his wife, and Dwayne, where we have individuals like them talking about their marital challenges in public. Do you think Two-Face would have accepted what happened with his supposed baby mama with his wife, if she had come in with a love child?
Well, I'm sure Two-Face would be in the best position to express that for himself. But I would want to say something actually, yes. And it is that most people do not put themselves in the position of a situation until they find themselves in that situation.
Absolutely.
I've seen this happen over and over again. Even put aside infidelity, as simple as being offended with someone that did something to you, and then I ask the flip question, if you were the person who was now the offender, how would you want to be treated? And then you see them pause, like, now it dawns on them that you can actually be the victim. I totally agree that it is disrespectful of a spouse, whether man or woman, to engage in acts outside of a commitment that they have with someone that they claim to love. And eventually the results, the other spouse has to deal with the repercussions of their actions. I totally stand for that. But I also am of the opinion that, of the golden rule, that says, do unto others as you would want them do. Absolutely. A lot of times people are ready to throw out the stone to condemn the person who has committed the crime.
Absolutely.
However, the other person, the question, and I totally agree with Uti where she said that sometimes when third parties are involved, you actually don't see the bigger picture. So with all of your rage and anger, you just lash out. But you forget that at some point you're going to commit a crime that is equally unforgiving. Now, in that situation, how would you want to be treated? For me, it's going to be tough. I won't say that it's something that will happen overnight, where I'll say, oh, I forgive you, where's the child, and we live happily ever after. It's going to be tough, but it's going to take a process, a healing process, to get to that point where it is acceptable. So for me, it's about whatever actions that you want to carry out, be ready when it's your turn. To accept the consequences if the person says, oh no, because tomorrow I might be the one who has committed a crime.
Exactly. So
Marianne,
extend the same rule to me. It should apply. I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm not married and I don't know about cheating yet. Lucky enough for me. But I'm going to start with where Uti stopped. Society is part of the problem. Too many naysayers and people who have things to say about your relationship and how it should be. It's preposterous, it's sacrilegious, it's against our family. Uncle, if we check very well, you have like 10 children.
In different
they will come
parts
out
of the world.
Excuse me? But we're very quick to knock other people, and sometimes we forget that when we're pointing one finger, the others are facing us. And we never really stop to think about it. So we put too much pressure on the people who are in relationships. So I think that we need to also, go past those facades and all of those voices. We need to quiet all that noise, just as you guys have pointed out. Look within yourselves and say, first things first, where did I go wrong? Because I'm one of those people who believe that if my partner is cheating on me, I need to know where I dropped the ball.
Exactly. Yeah, but sometimes it's not you that
I'm just saying. So you need to cover all grounds. Let's have a conversation. What happened? What did I do? Or what made you do it? And let me understand. But then again, it's also difficult when there's a child involved. It's easy for me to say, I'm going to give you a second chance and I hope that you don't do this again. But when I see that child, even if I get to forgive you 5 years down the line, every time I see that kid, it's going to remind me of your infidelity. So that's whether it's the man that brought the child or the woman. And I'm sorry, there are men who are a bit forgiving, but the percentage is low.
Yes.
Percentage is low.
Yes.
Like I said at the beginning, it depends on where you grew up, the family, where you,
with
your
a
environment.
love child.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, yes. There are people who've done it and it doesn't make the news.
You see, the man would say, I raised this child.
Yes.
You cannot tell me. Look, look. I mean, they convince themselves that the child looks like that. Look, he's got my nose. He's got my eyes. The thing is that they've invested in the situation. So hearing years down the line or later that this child is not, they can't connect with that. They may be unforgiving of your action, but it's not the child's fault.
Exactly. I was about to say that child didn't ask to be born.
Hold that thought. So let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Contrary to popular belief, Corona is not a hoax. The virus is real. Be responsible. Wear a mask. Wash your hands with soap and water and avoid crowded places. Maintain physical distancing. Be responsible. Together, we can overcome the pandemic.
If you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we are asking the man, would you forgive your wife for having an affair, and would you accept the love child as a result of the affair? Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 8038 4663. Our phone line is now open. Please call us on 070 2500 7749. Now, back to you, ladies. Uti, you've been quiet. Where is Uti? You've been quiet. Look.
I'm right here.
Please just hold on. Once Marianne is done with her thought, she was saying something, so please finish it off.
Before we went on the break,
Yes,
I think
please.
it was in 2015, between 2015 and 2016.
Yes.
The famous fella Nicola Kuti's oldest son realized that most of the children were not his.
Oh
Most
my
of the children
gosh.
he raised, he made the news. He was.
I didn't know.
Yeah, he made the news. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2016 or 2015. He realized that most of those children were not his.
Wow.
And for him, it was really disheartening because his children are all grown.
Yes.
So he could have spent his whole life thinking that these were my children, but it made the news. It was just a sensational story at the time, but I think after a while, you know, because who are those children going to call dad? They know him as their father, so it's very difficult to detach. So I could tell from that story that he was livid because of what his wife did. Now, he does not necessarily have a grouse with the children because they did not ask to be born. In all of this, they're innocent. They themselves are going to be angry. Someone told me a story last week about a man who, just before he died, realized that the children were not his.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, the daughter, he had 2 daughters and I think a son. And I think it was, the 2 daughters were not his and it was only the boy that was his. He did not let the children know. He did not react in any bad way. He had conversations with his wife. He acted like nothing was wrong because he had raised his children. All he did, without his wife's knowledge, was to change the will. Now, when he died, everything was given to
his son.
One child. And so the other children are wondering,
what happened to
what's
us?
going on? And he said, the lawyer said, ask your mother.
As simple as
wow.
that.
That is.
Now, Uti, I'm going to go to the angle of ego, a man's ego. Where do you think a man's ego plays in this?
You have to go there, right?
Yes, in this madness. That, you know, when a woman brings in another child.
No, I mean, ego plays a huge part, right?
Yes.
But I also think that it depends on what kind of relationship the man has had with the child and at what age they find out. Like, look at the example that Marianne just gave. If the children are already adults, right? I mean, you could choose to sever your relationship with the kids. But if you've actually spent a lifetime raising these children, then, you know, are you going to throw all of that away? But I mean, we can only speak from it as our perspective as women, because you need to be a man to be able to speak to it. But from what I know of men's egos, it can be easily bruised. But so you know that there will be volatility in the response, or you expect that there'll be volatility in the response. But it's such a unique situation because there's so many factors. Ego is just one. So I can't sit here and say, oh yes, ego will definitely play a role in it because this kind of thing goes to the very heart of a man. You know, you think that this is your seed, this is the child that you fathered. And then you find out that this isn't the case. There's so many factors to consider that somehow, in my mind, ego is not number one. Ego is, you know, somewhere further down. What just happened?
Hello? I think we lost her for
connection.
I think we lost her for a minute there. So while we're waiting for her to come back, can you take up from where she stopped on ego for a man? Because I think ego plays a huge role. The moment the man feels, hey, this woman has stepped out and she's brought in another man's child to me, it's like you bruised his ego. During the last show where they talked about women having to accept the love child, a man actually called into the show and said that if he finds his wife going out of the marital circle and going to get another attention, get attention out there, what he would do is examine himself. But do you think majority of the men in Nigeria and across the world actually would think along that line, where they would examine themselves? Instead, they would rather think, oh, this woman has disgraced me. She has spoiled my...
I think that will be in the context of the African society.
Absolutely.
If I mean, I beg to be corrected,
Absolutely.
right?
Culturally.
Because we are very cultural people.
Absolutely.
And the African setting makes you feel as a man, the person in charge. So if a woman takes a step or carries out an action that bruises your ego, it looks like you're not the man of the house. So that's what it registers, you know, so that's what a majority of men will be thinking of. People will laugh to say, oh, I mean, how can you be the man of the house and the woman steps out to bring a child into the home? So it's a cultural thing for us as Africans. But outside of the African setting, there are a lot of, they could or could not decide to not because of ego per se. It may just be that, okay, this is something I can't stand, or you have gone outside the context of our commitment to one another, or there's now distrust in the relationship. So they say, you know what, this can't go on anymore. But for the African mentality or the African mindset or the man that is raised in an African setting, most of the time, one of the major things that they're going to struggle with is the ego, the fact that you've disgraced them as men, not per se the action that has carried out.
Very thought.
Very true.
We have Timothy from Benin. Hi, Timothy. Hello. Hello, Timothy. You're live. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm fine. I want to contribute to your program.
Please go ahead.
Can I contribute?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Timothy.
You see,
can you
let me tell you something. Yeah, the DNA. The DNA.
Please turn down. Please, Timothy, please turn down the volume of your TV set because we can actually hear the echo from here. Thank you. So turn it down. Good.
Right,
good. We can hear you.
Is it all right now?
Absolutely. Please carry on.
Is it all right now?
Yes.
As I was saying, the DNA everybody have so many softwares. So a woman that have had affair with any man from the day she started having affair, the semen remain in her body. So sometimes those semen becomes active and then fertilize the egg of the woman, even when she's in her husband's house. And then she deliver a baby. And when you do the DNA test, it will be different from the man. Not necessarily the woman went outside. This deed was done when she was moving from one man to the other before she got married. So therefore, sexual activity is meant for married men and married women. It is not meant to be done before marriage. That is why the semen remain. And that is major problem we have now, because it is not a result of infidelity. The woman went out. It has been done a long time ago. They are becoming active. The software is triggering and it's active. The software in any DNA is more than the software that ever been made since humans started using software. So it's a mystery. So that's why it requires discipline for a woman to close her lips before she gets married. Thank you very much.
Spoken like a true Benin man. Thank you, Timothy.
I really wanted to ask Timothy what's his profession and what's his.
That was quite elaborate.
You can't put that kind of information out there without telling me that you are a DNA specialist or you are a doctor of sorts or a medical person.
Have you had any dealings with Benin men or women?
Thank God not.
Well, Norma was talking about ego and she was talking about the cultural effects of it. So what about the societal effect of it?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier on, society plays a big role in the African setting, whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Zimbabwe, whether it's Morocco, it's African. And the first thing we say is, this is a shame to the family name. We're never really thinking about the people involved, what could have led to it. And I like what Nelma said. Examine yourself. You know, what exactly could have caused? There has to be something that was amiss. Apart from the fact that you once in a while have either a man or a woman who's just promiscuous.
Hold that thought. We'll take Fatima from Lagos. Fatima from Lagos, hi.
Hello.
Hello, Fatima.
Hi. I want to give a shout out to Norma and Fanga.
Hey.
Fatima, no problem. So that's a very, very important topic, actually, I must say.
Yeah.
In this, can you hear me, please?
Yes, please. Carry on. We can hear you.
Okay. In this part of our world, the moment they realize a thing like that has happened, in fact, the society will just throw you away.
They will bash you.
The culture has not given women room to be able to be accepted in a thing like. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So, I really don't think every man will accept that. But you know, in a white man land, they believe that not every child must be biological. A child child is a child. They see every child as innocent and must be accepted. So they adopt kids and they make them theirs. I've seen a situation where I think a friend's sister married a white, and along the line she gave birth to another child outside and the white man accepted. But in Nigeria, they can't. the family of the man himself, so because they think that whatever they are working for as a man, they need a child that will take up, their legacy. And I don't think most family will accept that. That's just my contribution.
Thank you, Fatima. Thank you. Look, I think Fatima has just raised a valid point, which has to do with our culture accepting and the fact that women have been stereotyped into not expressing themselves in that light. So if we women decide to, step out of the comfort zone and say no to this, that we can do this and get away with it, what do you think will be the outcome of it?
Oh God, please.
It will be catastrophic.
Please, don't tell me that you're advocating that women should also try to be.
No, I just said it will be catastrophical. I didn't say that we should do it. Okay.
Uti.
So hi, Uti, you're back. We missed you for a minute there.
Where Issy was going with that, because I was like, validating that this should become standard practice, or yes, mistakes happen. For me, I think that once you involve family, it's very difficult.
Absolutely.
For external family, extended family or external parties to wrap their head around the fact that this is somebody else's child. Absolutely. And these situations are all unique in their own sense, because there's so many factors that get you to the point where, these affairs happen, whatever the circumstances and the situations, they're always very unique. It's not paint by numbers. It's not, oh, you did one, so I did two, or this is how it happened. The stories, the stories always differ. Really, the stories always differ. So you find that a lot of the time, it's a conscious decision. When I came back on just as that caller was speaking, and I thought to myself, you hear some things every day. So there's, there's dormant sperm at this point. This is new biology, right? But these situations are very, very unique in the sense that each couple has to process it at that time. Yeah. But I think that for me, the most important thing is always the children, right? Because whatever your mess is, the children didn't ask for it. There has to be a responsibility to the welfare of the children. So some people will keep it quiet. Like, you know what? Let's just keep going ahead. Let's not try and create situations. But you find that definitely the age of the child, the age of the relationship, the stage, all those things are factors that come into this. But please, let's not normalize it, even though, we know it's happening and it's plenty. Yeah. But let's not normalize it.
Men also believe that women actually believe that when a man steps out of the family or decides to have an affair, that means he has total disregard and lack of respect for the relationship he treasures with his spouse or whoever he's with. So do you think it's the same thing with a woman who decides to have an affair and also bring a child, love child home?
I think it swings both ways. It's disrespect on both parts, whether it's the man or the woman, because if you truly honor the commitment that you have, then except if you have found yourself in a vulnerable state where you already have issues going on and then suddenly, or you've been totally abandoned. There's so many reasons why people, and that's why it's important that the two people who are involved have a conversation amidst the anger and the rage, try to understand where the person is coming from, because it's one thing to make a mistake, it's another to continue to repeat that mistake. That means you do not have any form of regard for what you claim to have with this person that you claim to love. So yes, it bothers seriously on disrespect, because you can love someone, but you don't respect that person.
Absolutely.
By your actions, either the way you talk to them or the way you do certain things. It shows or it informs that person that they are not respected in the relationship. And it's important that we come to that place where we put ourselves in one another's shoes, because it's easy for you to just dismiss without realizing that you can be the victim tomorrow.
I just want to chip in that there are people who do it really good. They respect their wives. They treat them like
hide everything,
the best thing in the world, and they are cheating. They are so good at it. They are cheating, and they have one.
That's
so true.
Look, once somebody is cheating, there is something wrong somewhere. Whether it is by, so like you said, from one person's perspective, everything is great, everything is hunky-dory. And from another person's perspective, it's not, because let me even use the standard love languages. Somebody's there spending money all over the place, and the other person, money doesn't matter to them. So from perspective, he thinks he's doing everything right, and the woman is just like, look, I don't have your time, but I have your money. What do I want your money for? Love languages are different. But I just want to quickly take two comments that we have. One is from Raphael, and he's recommending a movie to us. He says, kindly watch Man, Woman, and Child full movie on YouTube. And the second comment is from Ade. Ade says, good evening, ladies. Both parties can't either forgive or forget, because it will always ring a bell living together. However, both couples should love each other wholeheartedly. Don't deny each other the indoor games on request. Be open and available to each other. Above all, they should stop giving excuses of getting tired at all times for the do. Hashtag open the gates is your spouse. Tiredness is real.
Yes, I do have some comments.
Yes,
this is from Benson. He says, good evening, ladies of Ways. Responding to Uti, it's even deeper than that, even from the scriptures, that the Almighty promised Abraham, yes, he had another child, yet the Almighty still insisted that Isaac is the promise for the generational blessing. This psychology continuously affects the subconscious of most men. So thinking that, okay, because it's from time immemorial, it's okay to do it. Then I have another comment. Even male animals don't raise the offspring of another male. Okay. They would rather kill off the kids and have their biological kids with the female species. Thus, the word alpha male. Lions kill cubs, said by other lions to the lionesses, would be royal to them and bear their own cubs. And last one, Issy, women and men are complementary and not the same. Women have more to lose in amorous relationship than men ever will. Societal expectations again.
Exactly.
Men and women are like spoon and pot. Okay. You don't allow all spoons into the pot so as not to sour the soup. The spoon and its contents can be desecrated and discarded, not the pot. The woman is held to a higher moral standard as a vessel and beacon of society.
Wait. I never knew men could be so philosophical.
Wow.
Look, spoon, pot, wow.
They're coming up with all kinds of things, even the Bible. They're very quick to quote the Bible. And this is not me saying that the Bible doesn't hold. I respect the Bible. I love the Bible. I'm a Christian. I'm a tongue-talking Christian, you know. But, thank you guys. I have a problem with men always making it feel that it's okay for a man to step out. It's okay if the man cheats. It's okay if the man has many wives. But when a woman decides today that, oh, well, men can marry 3. Why can't we marry 3? Oh, it's despicable. It is wrong.
You're held to a higher moral standard.
Don't hold me to a higher moral standard. Hold yourself, sir. Start with yourself, because you're supposed to, it's energy plus energy.
Yes.
If you're telling me that it's okay for you to cheat on me because you think that the world belongs to you, I will never respect you as a person. So, of course, you treat me bad, I want to reciprocate. Don't forget that a woman is like, I'm looking for the best word.
She'll multiply anything.
She multiplies, exactly. So whatever you put into her, she's giving you double portion. She's giving you 100-fold. So respect her, she will give you respect. Simple.
So with that, let's take our final thoughts. 1 minute No, 2 seconds actually.
2 seconds.
So let's take Uti. Yes, keep it quite short, please. Uti.
I mean, really, do we think? I think we said a lot today. Do we think that men will accept the children? Some might not do. It just depends on the circumstances. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Whatever it is, the situation, the controversy, please think consideration. Put yourself in the picture and let it guide you on the decision to make with regards to infidelity and love children brought into the scene.
For me, I think that the child should be the priority of both people. The people who are involved are parents, they're adults, they can deal with their issues, but the psychology of that child needs to be taken into proper consideration. So whatever fighting, whatever decisions you make, please, whether the child is young or middle age, it will haunt them psychologically. So make the best decisions on their behalf.
For me, I would say always think about the child, think about why you got into the relationship in the first place, so that you can avoid all of these drama. You know, that's the first thing for me. And I think with that, I would say, before we go, I need to say this. Do ensure you follow us on Instagram at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and most importantly, we are planning a giveaway just to say thank you for watching, believing in the Ways brand, and following the conversation. So do well to follow us on Instagram now at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, comment, and invite your friends and family to watch us and follow us. If you missed today's quote, here it is again. Men forget, but never forgive. Women forgive, but never forget. By Robert Jordan. Thank you, ladies. I think we've had a fantastic conversation.
Absolutely. Yes, we have.
Thank you, Uti. Thank you. Thank you so much. So see you next time as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Bye for now.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTV